It was the kind of blistering July afternoon where the air shimmered off the sidewalks and even the cicadas seemed too hot to sing. In the sleepy town of Riverbend, Virginia, life moved at a slower pace. People smiled at each other in passing, the grocery store clerks knew your name, and news traveled faster than Wi-Fi. On the surface, it looked like a perfect picture of southern charm and neighborly warmth. But beneath the veneer of sweet tea and bake sales, tensions simmered, old, unspoken tensions that no one liked to name out loud. 14-year-old Ayanna Pierce was walking home from her summer math tutoring, her backpack bouncing gently against her spine, her phone in one hand as she texted her mom to confirm dinner plans. She was tall and wiry, with neat cornrows that framed a thoughtful face. Her eyes were observant, curious about everything from the way the sunlight hit the antique shop windows to the tiny lizards that darted across the sidewalk cracks. She was passing the florist shop where Mrs. Lupe always waved when Ayanna paused to admire the arrangements. When she heard it hat low, rumbling purr of a police cruiser engine creeping along behind her. Instinctively, Ayanna looked over her shoulder. The cruiser pulled up beside the curb and stopped. The door opened with a long creak and out stepped Officer Trent Callahan. She recognized him immediately. Broad-shouldered, white, with a thick mustache and dark sunglasses that always seemed to hide more than just his eyes. She'd never spoken to him before, but she knew the name. Officer Callahan had a reputation, a no-nonsense type who believed in keeping order, which in Riverbend often meant something very different depending on who you were. "Hey," he barked, voice loud and tinged with authority. "Got a minute?" Ayanna paused, unsure if he was speaking to her. There was no one else on the sidewalk. "Yes, sir," she said softly. Callahan's eyes scanned her braids, her well-worn sneakers, the bright sticker-covered water bottle poking out of her backpack. "You in high school?" "Yes, sir. I'm going into 9th at Riverbend High." "Then what are you doing wandering around town like this?" She swallowed. "I just finished my math tutoring. I'm headed home. My mom's expecting me." Callahan's mouth curled at the corners, though it wasn't quite a smile. "How old are you?" 14. He cocked his head, as if trying to decide whether to believe her. "Kinda hot out to be strolling around, don't you think?" Ayanna kept her voice even. "It's okay, I live a few blocks away." That's when he said it. "Well, you're out here, and folks get nervous these days when they see someone loitering." The word hit her like a slap. "I'm not loitering," she replied, voice shaking ever so slightly. "I'm walking home." "Mom," he murmured, glancing at his belt where his hand casually brushed the holstered weapon. "Is your daddy supposed to pick you up or something?" Ayanna hesitated. She didn't like talking about her dad's job, especially in Riverbend, where people were polite to your face but suspicious behind closed doors. Still, she answered honestly. "My dad's out of town for training. He's in the Army Special Forces, stationed at Fort Liberty." Callahan's laugh was loud, disbelieving. "Oh, really? Daddy's a big bad soldier, huh?" Ayanna felt her face flush with heat. Her father, Master Sergeant Malcolm Pierce, was the most disciplined and humble man she knew. She never flaunted his work, but the way Callahan mocked it stirred something sharp and cold in her chest. "Yes, sir," she said. "And my mom and dad trust me to walk home responsibly." Callahan snorted. "If your daddy was really military, especially special forces, you'd have said something by now." "I know how this town works." "I'm not lying," Ayanna said, voice lower but firm. "Then show me some ID, smart girl." "I'm 14, she repeated. "I don't have a license." "But I can call my mom." "You'll do that at the station," Callahan interrupted, stepping closer. "We've had some theft around here. Gotta make sure you're not involved." Fear coiled in her stomach. "I haven't done anything wrong," she said. "Please, just call my mom." He motioned toward the cruiser. "Let's go." As he reached for her arm, her phone buzzed, "Mom calling." "It's my mom," she said quickly. "Please let me answer." He reached for her phone. She stepped back. Behind them, a door creaked open. Mrs. Lupe had stepped out of her flower shop, eyes wide, sensing something wrong. "Officer, is everything all right?" "Just checking on some suspicious activity," he replied coolly, not taking his eyes off Ayanna. Mrs. Lupe's gaze darted between the officer and the girl she'd known since she was 7. She didn't speak, but the tension in her posture spoke volumes. Callahan stepped forward again, reaching once more for Ayanna. That's when the voice thundered from across the street. "Get your hands off my daughter." Callahan turned. A tall black man in civilian clothes strode toward them with the kind of calm that made your skin crawl if you had something to hide. Muscular, composed, and radiating danger not because of aggression, but because he was clearly someone who knew how to end things if he had to. Ayana's breath caught in her throat. "Dad," she whispered. Callahan's hand inched toward his sidearm. "Sir, I don't know who you are, but I suggest you stand back." The man didn't flinch. "I'm Master Sergeant Malcolm Pierce, U.S. Army Special Forces. And that's my daughter." A few more people emerged from stores, drawn by the confrontation. Officer Callahan hesitated, but his pride made him press forward. She was loitering. Might be connected to vandalism. "She was walking home," Malcolm growled. "Holding her phone. Talking to you. Is that suspicious?" The crowd grew. Murmurs rippled. "Don't pull the race card," Callahan snapped. "I'm doing my job." Malcolm's voice cut through him. "She's a child, and you had no probable cause to detain her. You're going to regret this." Within minutes, Officer Laura Nguyen pulled up. She stepped from her vehicle, took one look at the scene, and frowned. Malcolm turned to her. "Officer, please. My daughter was being harassed by your colleague. No crime committed, no cause to detain her." Laura assessed the scene quickly. "Miss Pierce," she said gently, "do you have any ID?" Ayana nodded, pulled out her school ID. Callahan muttered something under his breath. "That's enough," Officer Nguyen snapped. "There's no complaint on file matching her description. You're free to go." Callahan stepped forward again. Malcolm didn't even flinch. "You will refer to her by her name, not girl. She has a name. Remember it." They left the scene to soft applause from bystanders. But Ayana knew it wasn't over. And it wasn't. The following weeks unfolded like a slow-burning fire. Malcolm filed a formal complaint. Officer Nguyen gave a statement backing them up. Mrs. Lupe and others submitted written testimonies. Riverbend buzzed with gossip. The story split the town. Some cheered. Others whispered troublemakers behind closed doors. Then came the hearing. Malcolm dressed in full uniform. Ayana wore her Sunday best. Inside the police station, they sat across from a panel of internal affairs officials. Callahan, too, was present, his lawyer by his side. Ayana gave her testimony. Calm. Clear. Honest. When she described Callahan's laugh, his dismissal of her father's military service, the room grew still. Malcolm spoke next. His words were measured but firm. He didn't attack. He told the truth. The verdict came in 2 days later. Callahan was placed on administrative leave. But that didn't stop him. He was spotted driving past their house. Then Ayana saw him in the park. The next morning, they found a dead raccoon on their doorstep, throat slit, blood soaking through a note that read, "Lying runs in the family." The police couldn't prove it was him, but everyone knew. Then, one stormy evening, Miss Lupe called. "I think he's breaking into my shop." The Pierces rushed to the scene. Malcolm caught him red-handed. A confrontation followed, shouts, threats, and then a gun drawn. But Malcolm was faster, trained, precise. One shot to the shoulder. Carmichael crumpled. Police arrived seconds later. Arrested him. Secured the weapon. In the aftermath, as paramedics lifted him onto a stretcher, Ayana ran into her father's arms, sobbing. "You saved me," she cried. "No," he whispered, holding her tight. "You saved yourself. I just had your back." Carmichael was charged with assault, illegal possession, stalking, and attempted break-in. He went to prison. The town changed after that. Slowly. But it did. And Ayana? She never walked with her head down again. She knew who she was. And she knew her voice mattered.